It reminds me of before I went on my mission, I went up to Salt Lake and went up and did all my mission shopping in Provo. And I went to the Salt Lake Temple and did a session in the Salt Lake Temple. And someone had told me to ask to go around and the celestial room, to go around to the backside. There's some offices, and there's a stained glass of the first vision on the other side of the Holy of Holies.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that kind of insider tip. So I, asked one of the temple workers to see that, and they took me around, and it was beautiful. And of course, I was so naive.
Yeah.
But
you made a 20. You were naive. Imagine that.
And so, like, I started talking to the temple, the ordinance worker there, and I was kind of asking about the Holy of Holies, and I was like, so who uses, what's the Holy of Holies about? I was like, is that for the prophet? And he was, and he said, oh, certainly the prophet uses it whenever he wants.
Yeah.
And then, and I was like, well, like, he goes, but it's for others as well.
Yeah.
And, I kind of asked the question, like, well, is it used often? And he kind of goes, more often than you might think.
Yeah.
And, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where you're saying these things are happening more often than you might think.
Yeah.
There are people in this world having experiences with the Savior that are sacred.
Yeah.
And that they don't talk about.
And it's not meant to be exclusionary. That's not what the Lord is doing, is only a select few are meant to receive this. No, it's the inverse of that. Only a select few are truly seeking after these things and giving all, consecrating all, because that knowledge is worth the sacrifice. Whatever is required, that goal of being in perfect alignment, or as close as we can be with the Savior, it's worth whatever the cost. And there are people who are living that way and who are doing that. And it doesn't happen overnight. It is the line upon line precept. But that means you have to consistently be walking. You have to consistently be moving in that direction. And far too often, we get to a place where we feel like things are pretty good. We get comfortable, and then we just try to stay there. That's not what the Lord wants for us. We get to a place where we're comfortable. Well, that typically means around the corner is another wilderness for us to walk through, for growth, for trusting in Him, for growing our integrity and our belief in ourselves and what we're capable of with the Savior by our side, And so that constant movement forward, we've got to be doing that. And there are those who are doing it in such a way in which nothing is withheld from them at a certain point. I truly believe that. And that's what we should each be seeking in our lives down this covenant path.
Another shout out to our Gospel Mystery podcast. We have an episode on calling an election.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Hit that like button, leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it.
They may seem like little things, but liking, commenting, it helps the algorithm push our content out to more people. So it's our small way of sharing the gospel in a social media age.